This point is essentially audio. Listen as you start your 15 minutes walk towards the next point. Since 2009, the footbridge has linked the Park of the Garenne to the Gardens of the King situated on this bank. In the 16th century, the access to one or the other was only possible through the chateau. The Baïse has been a source of wealth since ancient times, since all the land hereabout is fertile and arable. But flooding has caused a lot of damage on several occasions. You perhaps noticed the marks of the levels of the floodwaters in the last century on the walls of the chalet. In the late 16th century, different accounts mention continual heavy rainfall throughout several winters. These downfalls caused flooding in many parts of the town, and work in the fields was impossible, reducing the poor to begging for food. In 1599, the gardens of the king were flooded, forcing the master gardener to take refuge on the tower at the top of the pavilion roof. Nowadays, an embankment built in the early 20th century, the Mat, protects the Garenne from floods. Until the 16th century, navigation on the Baïse was extremely difficult. Towards 1600, Henry IV and his minister, Chalet, set up locks to make it easier for the boats to navigate along the river. But it wasn't until 1830 that it became entirely navigable. You are walking along the old towpath. It was along this path that horses and mules trod while towing the boats. They transported wine, cork, timber, cereals, flour. All this made Nérac a prosperous market town. But then road and rail took over and river transport ceased, nowadays leaving the Baïse to pleasure boats. It seems very quiet here. No intruder to interrupt me.
If I may be allowed?
Oh no.
Ah, missed!
There's one duck that won't end up in the pot. Carry on up to the imposing pavilion. On your left, you'll catch sight of private gardens. Then the remains of the wall of the King's Gardens, nowadays in part replaced by allotments. These plots are made available to families by the council to be used as vegetable gardens. Move ahead towards the Baths Pavilion and go up the steps to reach the next point.